The streets of Washington, D.C. roared with a defiant chant, "No kings." But beneath the unified cry against the Trump administration, a quieter, more complex discontent simmered. Thousands gathered, not just to protest Trump, but to voice a growing frustration with their own party, the Democrats. And this is the part most people miss. The very party they're relying on to fight Trump is facing a crisis of confidence from its own base. This wasn't just a one-off rally. It was part of a nationwide wave, a second round of No Kings protests organized by Democratic groups and activists, a desperate attempt to channel outrage into action. Yet amidst the anti-Trump fervor, a surprising sentiment emerged. Many protesters, while vehemently opposed to Trump, expressed deep disillusionment with their Democratic leaders. "I'm losing faith in the Democrats," confessed Alex, a construction worker from Virginia, his voice tinged with frustration. "They seem spineless, disorganized, lacking a clear message. They're no match for Trump's machine." His words echoed a sentiment shared by many. The Democrats, they felt, were failing to mount a strong enough resistance. "It's painful to admit," Alex continued, "but Trump's people are more organized than the Dems right now." This stark comparison, though harsh, resonated with others. Clark Fury, a Washington resident, urged Democratic leaders to get tougher. "We're taking the hits and staying silent," he said, his dog Scooby by his side. "The high road isn't working. We need to fight back." Jenny Wang, another Washingtonian, summed up her feelings in 2 words: disappointed and underwhelmed. This sentiment wasn't isolated. Since the Democrats' losses in 2024, their approval ratings have plummeted to historic lows. The party, once seen as a beacon of hope, was now viewed with skepticism and frustration. Scott, a Washington resident who declined to give his last name, went even further. "The Democratic Party is just as bought by corporate interests as the Republicans," he declared. He pointed to examples like Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's endorsement of an older candidate in Maine over a progressive challenger, and the party's reluctance to fully support Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic nominee for New York City mayor. "They're not fighting for the average person," he said, his voice laced with disappointment. Amanda Notaro, who lost her government job due to Trump's cuts to USAID, felt the Democrats were too afraid of losing elections to stand up to Republicans. "They should be out there, at these protests, showing they stand with democracy," she said. "Instead, they're worried about their seats in purple states. They're missing a crucial opportunity." But here's where it gets controversial. While many protesters were critical, they also acknowledged recent efforts by Democrats. The party's opposition to a Republican-backed funding measure, leading to a government shutdown, was seen as a step in the right direction. "I'm glad they're finally holding their ground," said Lydia, a mother from Virginia. "The shutdown is tough, but it's effective. We can't afford higher healthcare costs." Laurel Beaton, a 79-year-old from Northern Virginia, recognized the limitations of Democrats in the minority, but praised their efforts on health care. "They're doing what they can against a stubborn Republican majority," she said. "I applaud their fight for lower health care costs." Amidst the criticism, a glimmer of hope emerged, a new generation of Democratic leaders. Names like Gavin Newsom, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Mallory McMorrow were repeatedly mentioned as sources of inspiration. "We need fresh blood," Wang declared. "Too many octogenarians and septuagenarians in Congress." The No Kings protests, while primarily aimed at Trump, revealed a complex political landscape. The Democrats, caught between a formidable opponent and a disillusioned base, face a critical juncture. Can they regain the trust of their supporters, embrace progressive voices, and mount a truly effective resistance? The answer, it seems, lies not just in the streets, but in the hearts and minds of a party searching for its soul. What do you think? Are the Democrats doing enough to fight Trump? Are they listening to their base? Let's continue the conversation in the comments.